Hey guys, welcome to my kitchen. Don't mind the mess, I spend a lot of time in here and cooking up a storm. So I'm just going to show you, I make a lot of beef bone broth. Lucky I said that right. It's a mouthful. Anyway, I've got my bones, not my bones, the bones, in the oven cooking at the moment. Cooking at about an average 180 degrees Celsius. I work in Celsius over here. In Australia we use Celsius. So about 180 degrees Celsius. I'm not sure what that is in Fahrenheit. Sorry guys, there are converters you can look at. But I roast them for an hour in the oven first. The butcher cuts all the bones up for me so that I can fit them, because it is a leg bone. It's a cow leg bone. It's about that long. So I need him to cut it up or I won't fit it in my crock pot. So I've got it cooking in the oven at the moment. I'm about to get it out and put it into the crock pot and show you what I do. Okay guys, 1 minute. Okay guys, these are the bones. They've been cooking in the oven for about an hour. I'll put them in the crock pot and I'll show you what I do then. Okay, what you're going to want to do now is, when you do put them into the crock pot, you're going to have all this on your tray. You want to scrape your tray and get all that. There's oil on there. I don't know if you can see that. All the oil and all of this black stuff. You want to get as much of that into your bone broth as you can. Then you want to get some apple cider vinegar. Now I've heard people use 1/4 of a cup, but I'm only going to put a little tiny sprinkle in here. Otherwise it really tastes, I can taste it, very strong. So I'm only going to put a little bit. It helps pull the acid of the apple cider vinegar, helps to pull the marrow and all the good stuff out of the bones, so you get your nutrients. Then what I do is I'll give that a stir and just leave it sitting for a minute while I get the rest of my ingredients. Oh, sorry, it's stinky. Oh. I've done it without the apple cider vinegar and it's actually quite nice, and I think if this one doesn't turn out that good, I'm going to go back to using no apple cider vinegar. Although there was a lot of stuff still stuck on the bones last time. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to throw a bunch of old celery in there. Just throw it in, doesn't matter, don't need to chop it up, just throw it in there. You can store stuff in your freezer, like celery and carrots and onion. I've got a bit of leftover onion here that I've stored in the freezer. I'm going to put that in there as well, just to give it a bit of flavour, so it's not just the very beefy one. Depending on the bones you get, can be, I've come across some that are very, very strong in flavour and smell. So I do like to put the onion and the celery in. And I'm going to put a carrot in as well. Now I've already washed the celery because I had it sitting in my fridge, and I'm just going to wash the carrot. A good wash. And I'm going to throw the whole carrot in. I'm not going to peel it, and I'm not going to chop it, and I'm not going to do anything because I'm not going to eat it. It's just for the flavour. So you can, any old celery you have that starts to go, I'll put it in your freezer in a bag. Same as carrots, onions, yeah. And then you can put them in something like this beef bone broth, and it will create more nicer flavour. Okay guys, hang on one sec, I'm getting my water. Now the water I use is it's free of fluoride and everything. It's got nothing in it at all. I've also got a water tank out the back, which if worst comes to worst, I'll use that water as well. Because the water coming out of the tap, I've got a TDS meter, which is total dissolved solids meter. And the water that comes out of your tap, my tap, has 70 or 80 parts per million of something in it. And the water that comes out of my water tank has 20 something parts per million in my water. I prefer to take my chances on the water from the water tank and just filter it, strain it, like get all the, if there's any floaties or anything in there, and boil it. As long as you boil it, I believe it should be okay. But don't take my word for it, guys. Okay, I'm just going to put the water in. I'm just going to fill it up. Some very expensive water I'm using too. And I try to go as organic as you can on the beef bones. The grass-fed would be the best one to use, if you can find it. It's a long, slow process, guys. Hope you don't mind watching me pour water. And you want to do it in a slow cooker, or if you do it on the stove top, you don't want it to have a rolling boil. You just want it just below bubbling, if you can. Like one bubble here and there is okay, but try not to boil it. You've got to just let it really just heat, just sit there heating. And you've got to leave it for 24 to 48 hours is the best. Okay, I'm running out of water. I'm going to have to go to the water tank. Okay guys, one sec. Okay guys, I did get water from the water tank. It doesn't look like it, does it? No, I've actually poured it into the kettle because the kettle has a little filter on it, so I just want to filter out anything that might be floating around the water tank. I don't know if you've ever had a water tank. Oh, my kettle's leaking. I better pour some out. I overfilled it. Now my floor's wet. Watch me go over on the floor. I hope I don't go over on the floor. If you've ever had a water tank, I used to live out on property, and we had a water tank and there was a dead snake in there, so you might want to filter it out. That's what happens when you live in Australia. Okay, then you want to turn you want to make sure it's plugged in and turned on first. Turn your crock pot on. Put the lid on, and now leave it for 24 to 48 hours. I'll be here for the next 2 days, so I'm going to leave it for 48 hours to let it cook properly. Yeah, now I've got to clean up my kitchen. Okay guys, I'll talk to you soon. Bye.